Good evening. Okay, this is another part of my young adult fiction. So the first family is based in San Francisco. That's where the whole story starts over there. Excuse me. Get some tea. So the matriarch's one of the matriarch's granddaughter marries a guy, and this guy's grandfather came from Scotland. And what I did, I took a look at this kind of websites to learn as much as I could about Scotland. The largest city is Glasgow. So even though the capital is Edinburgh, I could have chosen Edinburgh, but there was something about Glasgow that really caught my attention about this family. So what I did basically did was I said that there's these two guys from Scotland. They were born and raised in Glasgow. They attended the University of Glasgow, and there's two guys. So one of them is a deeply caring person. Definitely, family. Anything that happens to his family, it affects him deeply. And if something bad happens, he wants to get to the bottom. He wants to know what's going on here. So let's go over to this. So, one of his daughters-in-law, sadly suffered a miscarriage during her first attempt at starting their family, and she offers to annul the marriage because they're Catholic. You don't divorce. But her father-in-law said, no. Let's figure out what's going on here. And at first, the doctor's like, no, 30% of all attempts to having a baby ends this way. There's nothing wrong. Nothing anybody did anything wrong. But the man from Glasgow was like, no, there's nobody in my family has experienced this. I want to know what's going on. So they actually did a lot of research, and they found out that she is a DES daughter. DES stands for Dia Thil Still Bestrom. I probably am butchering that. But this was a medicine prescribed to women who were in the family way to prevent miscarriage, which, ironically, premature labor and other complications. You got to keep in mind, obviously, today if our family member is in the family way and the doctor prescribes medicine, we're gonna ask questions. We're gonna question it. Question the doctor. Don't just whatever medicine or whatever treatment the doctor gives you, you just accept it. But you have to keep in mind, 1940s, 1950s. This was not. This was a time when people didn't question authority. So you can see 1940s, World War II. We saw what happened there. 1970s. That was probably like Korean War, Vietnam War, around that time. So around that time, people didn't question authority. Because and then also the fact that medical doctors, they have a lot of knowledge, they have a lot of experience, and the research at the time said no problem. This is safe to use for women who are in the family way. But as we now know, today, we question everything, and today we are not, we know we're not naive. We ask questions, but back then they didn't, and we are going through a lot, and sadly, this is not just the woman who took the medicine. High risk of cancer. Their daughters also high risk of cancer. Their granddaughters high risk of condition called endometriosis. Now, this doesn't mean that everybody with endometriosis has this condition, but some of them do. And then someone with endometriosis, it could be a different cause. So I also go through this. And the reason why I bring this up is because this is Endometriosis Awareness Month. And so I'm like, I really wanted to know as much as I could. Doctors have known about this disease for like over 150 years. But Western medicine is still no closer to a cure. Western medicine is still adamant the only way to diagnose this condition is through surgery. And especially when you live in a country like the United States where we don't have a national healthcare system, that means only women who have surgery can afford to have surgery. Their insurance pays for the surgery. They're the only ones who get diagnosed. And once you're diagnosed, it's considered a pre-existing condition, which means health insurance company, if you apply for health insurance, they're like, whoa, no, you have endometriosis, I'm not paying for that. We're not going to let you, I'm not going to not pay for this. I'm not even going to let you become part of our insurance group. Now, back when former President Obama was president, he started the path to fixing this to where, with the Affordable Care Act, insurance companies can no longer discriminate. You cannot say, oh, you have a pre-existing condition, we're not going to let you join our insurance group. Now you have to let them. Now, insurance companies can still refuse to pay for medical care. And yeah, my first surgery, I was diagnosed, and at that point, we did not even know. There's nothing. No discussion, nothing like that. So the insurance did pay for my first surgery, but the second one, the insurance says we're not paying for this. So I had to pay the whole cost out of pocket, and not only that, there's only a handful of surgeons who can perform this type of surgery. And part of the reason is because these disease tissue called lesions and adhesions, only people with specialized knowledge, specialized training, specialized experience can perform this type of surgery. And there's none in my hometown. Even though I live near San Francisco, I actually had to go to the San Francisco Bay Area, see a specialist, have the specialist perform the surgery. So now it's basically like plastic surgery, because insurance companies are like, I'm not touching this, I'm not paying for this. So we have to pay for it on our own. So what I did was, the doctor does understand, insurance companies, they can't discriminate, they can't say, no, you can't join the insurance group, but they can still refuse to pay. So he treats it like plastic surgery where he tells you upfront every cost. This is the cost for him, his surgery. This is the cost for the hospital stay. This is the cost for the operating room. This is the cost for anesthesiologist. This is the cost for the lab. This is the cost for the prescription medicine that you'll be taking while you're recovering from surgery. So, yeah, take it for what it is. So that's one part of it. And what I did was his granddaughter has endometriosis because her mom is a desk mom, so that means she's the desk granddaughter. Now, the granddaughter's brother married a woman who also has endometriosis, and I did mention that one. That one we don't know what the cause is. She is an only child, so hint, hint. Infertility is one of the symptoms of this. So she did have, luckily, she found the right guy to marry, and his family actually sent her all the way to the former West Germany, because we're talking about 1980s here. 1980s, they took her to the best surgical team. She was diagnosed. She got all the disease tissue out. They made sure they didn't leave any pockets, any disease tissue behind. And they got married. I think they got engaged in 1988. 1989 they got married, and then San Francisco. Hello, they had the earthquake. So and then yeah, she announced that she's in the family way, and she went on to having a couple of children. Her first child, a son, they get married, no problems there. But their second child, a daughter, um, as soon as puberty hit, she has the extreme pain, chronic pain. Even when she's not on her period, she's in chronic pain and lots of hemorrhaging. And of course, the mom's like, I would, I had surgery, I was diagnosed. Probably my daughter has it. But when the daughter turned 18, they took her to this number one surgeon specialist in Paris, France, because she wanted to take a gap year. You take a year off from high school to college, and she's really good with the French language, French culture. So they decided, okay, she'll have her surgery in Paris, France, and then while she's recovering, she'll start university. So, but sadly, the doctors told her, yeah, she has endometriosis, but it is the most aggressive um, symptoms. And the surgery took several hours. And the daughter woke up from surgery and told her parents, she's not getting married, she's not having children, which at the time, yeah, I didn't even address, is she gay? Is she trans? I didn't address that issue, and I wish I did. Because I did mention in San Francisco, the matriarch, she's super strict, even stricter than this guy from Glasgow, from Scotland. So that's, if I ever continue the story, I would like to delve into that part. While at the same time, being very sensitive, this is a family matter. It's not, I mean, for whatever reason, this country has turned into a political matter, but, I would, if I do continue the story or delve deeper into this, I will address it as a more of a family matter than political. Because I'm not the type of person who's like in your face or it be so like that. So anyway, so that's one part of the family. We got this. The other part of the family. So there's two men from Glasgow. They started a company. They graduated from university. They moved after they graduated from university. They moved to New York City to start their business. And one of them, deeply caring person. The other person is warm-hearted and kind. And this person, I wanted to mention this person, his aunt, one of his aunts, was inspired by, she knows everything about Japan, inspired by, what's going on that's going on in Japan. She did some art prints. It's kind of like a hint, she's one of the people who painted things that were inspired by Japan. And I'll include these links in the description box below so you can see, what kind of art was inspired by all this, And then it turns out, this family, so there's two businessmen. They want to help network all these small businesses from around the world. This guy was more into he's a deeply caring person. He's affected by death. He's affected by endometriosis. His sons created satellite companies throughout Europe, like former West Germany, France, England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, Northern Ireland, Italy, Austria, Switzerland, all, and Canada and Australia. So that's how they did that. And then the other business partner, his sons created satellite companies in Taiwan, Hong Kong, Japan, South Korea, Singapore, so that part of the world. So I'll finish it off with that, and then next episode I'll talk about another family that brings these three families together. Any questions, comments, constructive criticisms, let me know, and I shall see you next time. Take care.